In real life, we are looking at the town of Wismar, a town in northern Germany on the Baltic Sea. The opening view is from the tall tower of St. Marian's Church, looking down to the market, the town square. The same view of Murnau's, with a wider angle, shows more clearly the famous market, one of the oldest and largest town squares in the Baltic. A 1930s bird's-eye view of Wismar before the nave of the church was destroyed in World War II. The town square is on the right. The decorative circular structure at the center of the market is called a Wasserkunst. The Renaissance style Wasserkunst, built in 1602, was part of the Wismar Waterworks. It was built as a way station designed to take fresh water from outside the town and distribute it to the city. Most of St. Marian's Church is gone, destroyed in a World War II bombing raid, which left only the front tower. This slightly lower view, taken from a nearby building, shows the Wismar town square as it looks today. To get his shot, Murnau and his cameraman Fritz Arno Wagner simply had to walk up to the top of this church tower and shoot down to the town square. Damage still present in the front of the tower indicates where the rest of the church once stood. This beautiful, well-groomed neighborhood in Lübeck was one of the first set of buildings in Germany constructed for public housing. The street and neighborhood are completely unchanged from the day Nosferatu was shot. These handsome deserted houses are really Salzspeicher, salt lofts or warehouses built in the late 1500s. Since Murnau's filming of Nosferatu, these historical landmarks have been preserved and restored, and if for sale, would be one of the most expensive pieces of real estate on the Baltic coast. The Norwegian painter, Munch, also was drawn to the morose, haunting quality of these buildings. He sketched them in 1902. It is an open question as to whether Murnau knew of Munch's work, or whether this was a personal discovery of Murnau's while in Lübeck. The salt lofts, along with the Holstein Gate, seen from the other direction. The Holstein Gate, with these warehouses, have become a signature skyline for the town of Lübeck. Salt, the white gold of the north, was one of the reasons for Lübeck's early wealth and prosperity. The building next to where this scene was filmed was originally a Wismar hospital. It is now a museum, the house and yard completely unchanged from 1921. Another view of the yard and fountain. The inn, a few miles from Orava Castle, is now a private house. The building was slightly modified when the nearby road was widened. This shrine, now with a fence, has been moved slightly from when Murnau used it in Nosferatu. The shrine, in a sense, would return 36 years later in Hammers, the Horror of Dracula, when Harker uses it to hide his diary. A view of Orava Castle, originally built in the 13th century and perched spectacularly high on the rocks above the Orava River, the castle controlled the route between Slovakia and Poland. Called the Archive Tower, the windows are built in medieval defense style, with thick walls and narrow windows. The castle's torture chamber is located in this tower. Orava Castle as seen from the front door. Orava Castle is truly medieval, giving scenes like this a documentary-like authenticity. The dark border on the right of this scene was created by Murnau and Wagner to increase the rings of light and dark, I count 4, to emphasize the impact of their meeting. Visually, Hutter and Orlok are now at the center of a bullseye. This archway is found just after entering the main door. The wires going upward to the right are electrical cables. Notice the real archway has no dark border present. The original shot was probably created by a combination of lighting and the use of a cutout mat. The Orava Castle steps today. Lumber on the left has been gathered for a restoration project on another part of the castle. Like many castles, Orava was built and rebuilt. At least 4 different architectural styles are present: Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance, and even Neo-Gothic. This structure, a filigoria, is otherwise known as an outlook house. Built in the 1800s, it provides a breathtaking view of the Orava River and the surrounding valley. Several interiors of Nosferatu were also filmed in Orava Castle, including the coffin discovery scene, filmed beyond this door. Letters and statements by the actors and crew give contradictory evidence of the locations used in Nosferatu. Cameraman Fritz Arno Wagner wrote to Lottie Eisner that the beach locations were filmed in Heligoland. Heligoland is a small island in the North Sea. Yet Heligoland is also a general name for the entire North Sea area, not just the island. In any case, Murnau was certainly at Wismar, and the beach locations may have been filmed near Wismar, on these Baltic Sea beaches. This photo of Wismar, taken in 1905, shows its active harbor. Wismar remains a bustling port town, its skyline still dominated by St. Marian Church's tower. The Wismar Gate, one of the most famous and historic structures in the city, was built in the 15th century to control traffic from the town to the docks. The Wismar Gate has a very different appearance when one can see the entire structure. This house in Lübeck is the official home of the organist for a nearby church. After watching me wander Lübeck for days, trying to find this street, the locals took pity, and with the help of a librarian, I was pointed to this address. The area suffered severe bomb damage in World War II. It is the one location in Nosferatu unrecognizable today. These castle ruins, about 20 miles from Orava Castle, were shot by Murnau and his crew while in Slovakia. The ruins are not mentioned in Galen's script. The scene was added later by Murnau as a conclusion to Nosferatu.